Hey guys, welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today I'm sharing with you the second paint up of this Gladiator kit from Bushy Collector. Now, really great kit. There's some things here and there that I like about it that I don't like about it, but we'll get into that on this video. I did talk about it in my other video where I did the paint up of the first version. So this one is more of a darker tone version, and when I was working on it for the client, he wanted to go with the black outfit here and then the red here. So as I started working on it, I wasn't sure whether he wanted to have like metallic pearl looks or if he wanted to go flat. So I started off with just a base coat of the black, and I showed him okay, this is the base coat. I could dull it down or we could keep it shiny. And then after he looked at it and decided, he's like, you know what, let's go with the metallic look. So that's kind of where we ended up. And I pretty much painted the way the client wants it, and it came out pretty cool. So we'll get a little bit closer and I'll show everything up close. It is a monster of a kit, like I said in my other video. Really, really big. Alright, so what I did is I started off with the the black, and then I started doing the red. And the red's kind of more of like a mahogany look than like a candy coat. It's out of a can of Duplicolor, and then I shaded it because I think the look was just perfect. So I really didn't have to do much more to it than that, but it was just a matter of really getting this smooth. It's really difficult with these bigger items. Putting them together, I did have some issues. So like I said in the other video, they sent the second head, but the second head was not fitting correctly at all. The first head did fit, but the problem was the magnets weren't strong enough, so I had to add more magnets into that. And then I was able to kind of shave down the head a little bit. I had to, on this one, I had to fill up some aves underneath the neck here. It may not look like it's touching, but it is pretty much because it kind of comes out a little. I had to put some aves in there to kind of make that flush. So once I got the head flush and everything, it worked out good. The other kit went along smooth, but this one I had a big issue with putting the pegs in. The other one, I was able to put the two pegs in straight in and it worked out good. But for some odd reason, the way this was drilled, it was drilled at an angle. So when you put this leg in, it goes this way. It doesn't go straight up and down. So what I had to do is kind of re-drill both of the holes, kind of work out my own peg with the aves. So it goes a little bit closer to the base compared to the other one. I had no choice in that matter, and once I pretty much got it working, I pretty much stopped because it took a couple tries to get these pegs to go in without it flopping and moving and stuff. So it was a little bit difficult, but once I got it done, it worked out pretty good. So, and then the way the client wanted was, he wanted it black in the inside of the cape and red on the outside. Now the black is kind of like a flat black, and I did an interference red on it, so it gets a little bit of a silk in the inside of the cape. And then when I was working on the outside of the cape, he didn't want it silky. So what I did is I did a second paint up, and then we went more with like a red leather look. So it's a little bit darker. It might be shining within all the bright lights in here, but it's more of a flat red. But it's like a mahogany red. So it's kind of that. And then for the trim, I started doing like a pearlized yellow trim. He really wasn't. He wanted to keep it more of a darker tone. So then what I did is I did a gold trim around it. So basically the gold trim is different than this gold. It's a little bit different. It may be hard to see in the camera. This is Alclad what is it, pale gold, and this is a Tamiya titanium gold. The symbol here is a pearlized gold. So I mean, even though they probably all look the same in the camera, in person, if you look close enough, they are different. The belt buckle is the Alclad pale gold, but the belt itself is kind of like a muted yellow, and then a kind of hint of pearl on it, because we really didn't want a bright yellow. We wanted to keep it more of a muted color to go with the whole tone of them. And then once it pretty much got through all that, it worked out pretty good. Now on the base, it's a little bit different compared to what I did with the other one. The client wanted the base to be more of like space. We really didn't want to have it like a planet. He wanted more of like space, like it's in outer space and everything. So what I did, as you could see, is I did all these little speckling, and I worked out all these little colors and everything like that. We could kind of turn it so you could see. And one of the pictures he sent me was, it was like this, it was like a cloud in space, where it was kind of like all the space stars, but then there was this like, blue, purple, orange, and stuff like clouds within it. So he wanted me to keep the rings those type of colors. So what I did was, I kept it a blue, then we went with kind of like, what is this, magenta, then with like a red, orange, a little bit of a white, and then like, basically, this is kind of like Payne's Gray around it. And I did speckling around on the piece so you can kind of see all the speckling and all that stuff around the ring. So it's a little bit of a different take. This is, you know, he wanted to kind of follow those colors and everything, which is kind of cool. So when he sent me this, he already had in mind what he wanted, which was great. It was just a matter of making sure I can get it the way. And as for the base, he wanted me to keep it, it might be a little bit dark because of all the shadow underneath of it, but he wanted me to keep the base on the bottom like what I've done with my Wonder Woman bases from the premium formats I've done on a couple of my videos. So I pretty much followed that, what he wanted. So it worked out pretty good. Like I said in my other video, if you guys haven't watched that one, the ring on this base is very, very fragile. It, you know, at any point you could pretty much snap this thing. It's I understand what they were going with the design, but like I said to the client, I did a video, a special video I emailed to the client. I had to put this ring on and stuff, so at least he knows how to do it. What you do is you take these 3 clear rods. I had to drill in a little bit more. You push them in. You have to have someone help you, but I was able to do it on my own. And you line up the rings, because if you line them up wrong, they don't line up. So you have to keep turning the ring until you line it. And then you pull the rings, these little rods, into the ring, and it sets. But the problem is like the way they drilled it, it's kind of like cracking a little bit in certain areas. So you got to be very careful. At one point, like if you take off the head or the cape and it slips, or even the hands, and it comes crashing down and knocks on that ring, you're either breaking the rods or you're breaking the ring. So it's either or. That's the only thing about this kit that bothers me. Other than that, I think it worked out pretty good. The cape's a little bit tricky. This cape on this one also was an issue. I almost forgot about it. So, we'll probably get a nice good pick over here. Alright, so what I have to do is I got to put a little bit of a foam pad. This little piece of cape that kind of comes around here behind this leg, I had to build that out so the cape got pushed out a little bit more, because the way it was working was, when I put that down, this cape piece lifted up because this back piece wasn't pushing it. So I don't understand why. The other cape worked out perfect, this one didn't. So what I had to do is I put a bunch of A's in here and I pushed it in, and the cape was almost flush. I had to let that dry one day, and then I put some more A's in there, and then it worked out pretty good where now the cape is actually flush. So I guess it kind of maybe like warped in casting a little bit where it wasn't completely flush on the shoulder, but once I got through that hump, it worked out pretty good. So, you know, sometimes when you get these kits, some things, you know, happen once in a while where you just got to kind of tweak them to make sure everything fits. So the head magnetizes, the cape goes out, the arms are magnetized. I just had to do the seaming here for the 2 legs because I had to pin them. So there's a nice metal rod going here, and there's a nice metal rod going here. And then as far as I know, there's a really thick metal rod going up to at least up here. I don't think it goes all the way up the leg because I was able to drill down to here, about there or so. So I don't know. But I mean, it's pretty tough. It's a really strong kit. So other than that, it's really good. I mean, it's a really great kit, well designed. Like I said, if you know the character, because I really don't know the character that well, then, you know, let me know, because like I said, you know, there's different colors of him, which kind of works out pretty good. So it's kind of cool that I got to do 2 kits, but each client wanted specific colors and different paint ups, so that was kind of more fun than doing the same thing over and over. But there you go, that's Gladiator number 2. Hopefully you guys like the way it came out. Really, really big kit. A lot of fun. And thanks for watching. So we'll be back with some more videos.